Hey everyone, it's Miss Kathy from Tuneful Teaching. Today I'm going to show you how to make animated books from scratch for both virtual and in-person learning. You can make things move, you can make text pop up so that kids' eyes are learning to track from left to right, and it's a lot of fun. I'm using Keynote, which is basically Mac's version of PowerPoint. You can do the same thing in PowerPoint. You can also use Google Slides. It's a lot of fun. So let's get started. Okay, so we are going to use The Hungry Caterpillar, a relatively new book I created to accompany the original book. This one uses unique text and has some cues for practicing sign language for hungry, more, and waiting. And so I'm just going to zip through a little bit and show you how the text is moving and it's showing up from left to right. Here is where the caterpillar is tracking the words. This is the same thing where you're going from left to right, and then you also have the return sweep at the end of the first line going down to the next line. And then a couple of tricks about, just the size of that hole there, which is a simple thing to do. And then you can see the butterflies starting to emerge and getting a little bit brighter and brighter. And then he comes out and you can make his wings flap. And all of these things I am just doing with going through slides, and you can see them here on the left. These are the slides I just zipped through right now, and I'm going to show you this extra little bonus tip at the end for how to erase this white background. Okay, so let's go back to where we are started. This part, super simple. It's just this slide, and actually what I do is I create the slide that has all 4 words first, and then I do a little keyboard shortcut for duplicating, which on my system is Command D for duplicate. You can just Google and figure out what it is for the program you're using. So that just makes an extra copy. You can see it popped up over here, and then I can just delete some of the words and just work with it until I have exactly what I'm looking for. So that's pretty simple. Very similar concept with this caterpillar sliding across the words. I'm just going to duplicate that page, and then I'm going to take the caterpillar and I'm going to, oops, not the text. I'm going to take the caterpillar and I'm going to slide him over, and this kind of brings up a good point. Sometimes you're having a little bit of difficulty grabbing the text that you want, and so it's really helpful to know shortcuts for sending things forward and sending things backward. So here I have Shift plus Command B for back, Shift plus Command F for forward. And again, I'm sure you can figure out those shortcuts on your system if you're not on a Mac. Okay, so those are the caterpillars crawling. Same exact thing for the foods. I would just create this slide that has them all. Whoops. And then I would delete 1, then delete 2, and then delete 3, and I would just create that series of slides and zip through them. Okay, the cocoon, putting this holder here is just simply adding a shape, which I would do up here. I can add this in, change the color of it. I can put a border on it or not have a border on it. And then I do the duplicate and I just make it a little bit bigger the second time. All right, now this little trick is really fun, especially in this context. So you can see that I have this butterfly behind the cocoon, but I'm making him gradually get brighter so that you can see him. And so how you do that is I'm taking the cocoon image and I'm changing the opacity of it, and I can slide that like this, or I can type in the %, and that gives you the illusion of the butterfly starting to appear inside, which is what happens if you've ever watched a cocoon develop. It's pretty fun. The butterfly here is just simply this sideways clip art alternating with the full front clip art, just back and forth. I think it's 15 times. And so when you just zip through those pages quickly, it looks like he's flying. Okay, I think that was mostly it for the shortcuts I wanted to show you. The last thing is if you have clip art that comes with a white, the clip art I used for this project I purchased, and so they were high quality PNG images. I didn't have to edit much. But if you're just using it for educational purposes, you can use free clip art. And then what you would do is on a Mac, you would click on the image first, and then you would go to Image, and you have a tool called Instant Alpha. Now, I don't know if this exists in other programs. It's actually one of the main reasons I like to use Keynote, but you can keep going as much as you need to. If you do it too much, you'll start, cutting things out of the inside, but this looks about good. And then I can click done, and there I have my butterfly without any white box around it. All right, next up, I'm going to show you how to use this book we created on an iPad in an in-person session so that you don't have to print it all out. So if I was in a live session and I wanted to use this book I created, but I didn't want to print it out, which would especially be challenging with this one because I chose to put a blue background behind every image, I would just use my iPad, and there's going to be a bit of a glare here, but I can get you an idea of it. I would simply just tap through the pages as I read. And if you make a mistake, you can go backwards by swiping. It's pretty simple, and the kids are engaged by it, and it saves a lot of time and money with not having to print everything out. I, of course, love print books and paper copies too, so I don't use this very often, but when I spend a lot of time making a resource like this, it's great to be able to share it in my live groups as well. So that is how to use your homemade interactive virtual books in person, and how to create them from scratch. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you'd like to see the full version of the book and the song that goes with it, it is a YouTube video and you can see it. The song is in printed sheet music form as well and will be available for free if you'd like it. So feel free to email me, and I hope to hear from you. Thanks. Bye.